All right, I'm officially starting a backpacking trip in the Frank Church Wilderness, which is the largest wilderness in the lower 48. We got 2 nights out here where I'll basically just be following the Salmon River for the entirety of it. So I should be hearing this background sound for the next 48 hours, which is just outstanding. The drive-in was way better than expected. It was super cruisy, like 30 miles an hour the whole time. It's pretty remote in there though. It's like 2 hours-ish from the tiny little town of North Fork. So it does take a bit to get in here, but I've heard nothing but great things about this wilderness. It's apparently 3 times the size of Rhode Island, just the wilderness alone. Of course, I'm gonna see not even a snippet of it, but this is the river of no return here. I'm gonna hike 10 to 12 miles today to Lantz Bar to camp tonight. Tomorrow will probably just be like day hike around, and then I'm probably gonna end up moving my camp a little bit closer to the trailhead for tomorrow night, since the weather's supposed to degrade pretty much as I'm here. It's just gonna get worse and worse, so I have that to look forward to. A little sunshine right now, so I'll take what I can get. It's been sprinkling a little on and off so far, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll see some wildlife. This is also my first solo backpacking trip, so we'll see how that goes. Backpacked numerous times. I've hiked, day hiked alone quite a lot. The first backpacking trip, of course, I go to a pretty freaking remote area to do that, so hopefully the nights are short. Also, if you were wondering why the hood was popped on my car in the parking lot, apparently these little dudes make nests and take shelter inside engine bays, so I was told to leave the hood up to hopefully prevent that from happening. I pulled in the parking lot and saw about 15 cars with their hoods popped, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? But I guess it's just these little dudes. One of the interesting things about the Frank is that Motorized boats are permitted on the rivers in here, as well as airplanes can land and take off at pre-existing landing strips. Usually no motorized equipment is allowed inside wilderness boundaries, but I think when they were going back and forth debating and making compromises for how large this wilderness was going to be, they still wanted access to it other than just by foot. So boats are allowed, as well as airplanes. That cabin, I'm gonna guess, was grandfathered in and was there before the wilderness boundary was set, unless there's some kind of land lease going on. I see the boat says Salmon River Lodge, so I'm not entirely sure if that's allowed on wilderness, but I'm guessing it was grandfathered in. Somebody's been busy on this thing. Smokes. Wish I did some research on the structures on this trail. Wonder how old these are. All right, just got the tent set up, made it to Lantz Bar. A little campfire here. I assume this is like a rafting stop. Super sweet campsite. Got my tent there, food, camp ring here, right on the salmon. I gotta go get some fresh water, which is gonna be up over there. There's a creek. So right up on this is like a park plateau. It's just like green grass, pasture really. So I'm gonna walk up there, and I gotta come back, collect firewood, eat food, and settle in for the night. So I think this is like Lantz Bar proper, I guess. There's like a home, couple structures or old cabins back in there, but it's really pretty in here. Golden hour. I was gonna camp up here until I poked my head down there. I kind of wanted to be a little close to the river, so down on the sandbar. All right, it's the morning of day 2. We're just gonna day hike a couple miles on the Dwyer Smith Trail out of here. And then I'll just come back. I'll probably end up packing up camp and moving close to the trailhead. Today the weather has been beautiful this morning, but I think it's leading me into a false sense of security. I woke up late and I really would like to get to the second camp before it starts raining. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do a little day hike now. Glad I carry some tweezers. Thought I had a rock in my shoe, but I had a splinter at the bottom of my foot. I was walking around barefoot last night in the sand, so that's not shocking. Alrighty, well, fortunately we're barefooting across this one. Too bad. I came up about 400 or 500 feet up on this Dwyer Smith trail. I'm gonna turn around here. I wish I could keep going because the views must only get better. It's been a pretty nice trail most of the way, but I've got this fantastic view back here. I was hoping it'd open up a little bit. Could see these peaks in here have so much more vertical relief than you'd think. They're really tall, and I have such a narrow field of vision down there, especially on weather. When you're down hiking and camping way down in the Salmon River Valley, or any of these valleys around here, you can't see any clouds or anything coming. So it's basically not till it's right on top of you, or then you know it's raining. So that's my only hint right there, and that is the direction I have to go. Of course, the direction I'm not going is the beautiful blue skies. So probably gonna wrap this up and get back down to camp and break that, and then cruise back to, I think, Horse Creek campground is where I was gonna head to. Horse Creek looked really cool. There's quite a few campsites there, and there was not a single person at that spot, so I'm gonna check that out probably. So that's another 8 miles from Lantz Bar. So got a decent day. Found an alternate spot to cross that creek where I don't have to get my feet wet. Just will have to get my nerves up a little bit. Bark was fairly loose, so I ended up doing more of a reverse crawl technique. I did make it across without injury. I don't know if that took less time than taking my shoes off and getting my feet wet up this creek. So don't know if it was worth it, but either way it got done. Leaving from Lantz Bar now, just got packed up. Lantz Bar is awesome. It's really a great place to camp. Even if there's people here, it's so big. It's just a big meadow area. You can find a spot to be alone. Hoping to make it 8 miles back to the Horse Creek camp. If not, there's a bunch of camps before that. But it just depends on this weather. Clouds are increasing, but it's still pretty nice. It's actually really quite warm out. So yeah, hopefully before weather hits, I'll be setting up that camp. The forecast they had back at the trailhead made it seem like tonight and tomorrow would be a pretty significant amount of rain. I guess that remains to be seen, but hopefully I don't get stuck out in it while we're setting up camp. It's definitely at one point it was a decent place to live. Still some supplies in here, so it's still used for something. I'm sure the Forest Service just uses it, I guess. But I don't know what it originally was here for. Someone was homesteading out here. A beautiful place to have that. Really be curious to see what this was like when it was first built. It's pretty nice in there for a pretty remote cabin type deal. Homestead. Nearly stepped on this dude. Oh, I don't think it's a rattlesnake. It's still a snake. So I'm just gonna go around this handsome fella. And hopefully not step on one of his friends. He hasn't moved at all since I walked near it. Still just completely still in the same position. It's starting to sprinkle now. About halfway, so I'm hoping it holds at a sprinkle for the next 4 miles. Horse Creek is just around this bend right here, so almost there. Only been sprinkled on, so I have some hope that I can get camp set up before it starts to rain to any significant amount. This rock seriously looks like a giant turtle trying to swim upstream. Made it into camp before any rain hit, so no complaints here. There's definitely some ominous clouds forming that direction and pretty much all around, so I'm gonna probably try to have a campfire and eat food before it rains. But yeah, this is really cool here, honestly. Lantz Bar is awesome. This is pretty spectacular too, though. I don't know which one's better. They're both stunning and both have had 0 people in them. I saw that one tent earlier. That's the only other tent I've seen. That looked like, I think they were bear hunting. They got like a stove in there. I think they're set up for a while. And then I've only like walked past 2 different people. So it's been pretty quiet out here, which is nice. I kind of expected that, I suppose, how far out it is. So once it turns into rafting season, which is pretty much summer, June, July, August, I think this is quite a bit more busy. I think there's more people in here. It's probably noisier. I don't know if it's like one after another, or I don't know what that looks like, but I know a lot of people do come here for rafting. There's lots of different campsites on my map I can see that are on the other side of the river that obviously the trail doesn't go to, so that's all for rafting through here. But spring's nice because it melts out early here. This is mid-late April, and it's very well melted out. We got wildflowers just blooming all the way up the hillsides here. So this is a really cool spring backpack that's accessible with snow conditions. So massive wind just came ripping through here, so I ended my little fire I was having because it was blowing ash everywhere. Moved the tent, panicked, moved it back here. It's a little better. Out there was not only in the direct path of the wind right there, but it's like really sandy. So there's a little more purchase for your stakes, and then I threw rocks on top after that. So hopefully that'll hold if more gusts come ripping through here, because that will not be pleasant in the middle of the night if the tent comes falling down. But I think I've got this staked out pretty well. Got rocks on literally every one of the guy lines. I really don't like these big Agnes, and I'm sure maybe I have this in there backwards, style stakes. They're just, I don't know why they even did that. The J hooks are so much easier to use. I don't know, what do you save, like 0.1 ounces not having a loop on the top? I don't know, there's just way more possibility for it to come off easily. So I prefer this. I'll be buying more of these MSR stakes that are still really light, but definitely hold it on there a lot easier in the event of a wind event. Decided to get my wet campfire going again after about an hour of perfectly calm winds following the 30 to 60 second jet stream blast that came through here. I just doused it out because Ponderosa pine country here, you do not need the flames and ash blowing sideways. We would really quickly burn this whole campground down. So I have water prepared to douse it again in the event of another jet stream blast, but for now I'm just gonna kick back and enjoy the river and fire. Brush overgrowth is a real bummer, man. It's not raining that hard, but all the brush on the trail just completely soaked me. All right, just one more big sweeping river bend and I'll be back at the campground. I'll check in with the ranger. She took my name down when I started my hike. She actually approached similar to Les Schwab's, like before I got parked, started walking towards my car and I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to have some kind of permit. I was so worried about that after driving so far down the road. But she was just really nice and informative and just told me stuff about the trail and took my name down in the event I don't return. So I'll check in back with them and then I'll be doing the 2.5 hour drive back to Salmon where I will be getting food, coffee, and what have you. I'm just excited to get some dry clothes on. I'm soaked. Waist down is soaked. I just want to get this pack off. So I think just another mile or so around this bend, I'll be back at Corn Creek Campground. So what an awesome trip. What an amazing place. I need to come back to the Frank. There's so much to see. I'd like to get up higher. So I think I'd at least wait another month or so for the higher up snow. But I really want to come back here. There's so many different areas of it. So it's like going to the Frank barely even means anything specific. It's just such a massive wilderness. So I'd like to do some bigger trips in here or deeper into it. I don't know if it's like, there's a ton of trails in here. And I think I read if you connected them all, it would go from San Francisco to Detroit, which is just mind-boggling. Like in a straight line, it would reach that distance. But I just don't know if it's like a Pasayten wilderness situation in Washington where it's like half of them aren't really there and it's only some of them get maintained. A lot of them see no traffic, so it's like I don't know if you kind of don't know what you're getting into at each corner. But I don't know, I'd like to do some research and do something in the higher country in here, maybe more into summer.